Amber Paxton with the Financial Empowerment Center, and you're watching Money Power. Money Power will help you learn ways to get money, save money, and manage money. The show is part of the City of Lansing's Financial Empowerment Center, a partnership between the city and Capital Area Community Services. The Financial Empowerment Center offers free one-on-one financial counseling to Lansing residents. Call 211 today to schedule your free appointment. It's safe, confidential, and can help you pay off debt, improve your credit score, access safe and affordable bank products, and save for the future. The Lansing Financial Empowerment Center is made possible by a grant from the Cities for Financial Empowerment Fund, a program of Bloomberg Philanthropy's Mayor's Project. Thanks for watching Money Power. I hope you learned something that gives you the power. You can do it. We can help.
I'm Velma Kaiser. I'm the program manager of the Lansing Financial Empowerment Center. The difference in the impact that it's making on the client's life, because they come back for more. After their first session, you often wonder, will they be back? But yes, they're always back for more because they found great value in that session. And more people now know about it, so we've increased the volume of the clients we've served since we started. When someone, especially when they've come to the center or a counselor, and we realize at this point your budget is done, you have no other resources, however, you need food for the rest of the month. One resource we've used is the Commodities Food Program at the Capital Area Community Services. And also we've used, of course, the third Saturday of each month is the Mobile Food Pantry. And we also use the resource of them, okay, to avoid this going forward, why don't we try to get you a bridge card to support that as well. The Mobile Food Pantry is a process of distribution of food the third Saturday of each month. We have different locations around Lansing that we are located so the clients can come, bring only their driver's licenses, the only thing that we have to see, proof of identification and their addresses in the Lansing residence, and also something to carry the food home in. So that they come and let us know how many people are in their household, which determines the amount of food that we give to them. Many times when I've seen some clients at the Mobile Food Pantry, if I spoke to them, they know that I know who they are, they've left. Going forward, when they've come back, I've embraced them, say, "Whoa, glad to see you. I'm glad we're here to help you," and just to give them that assurance that there's no reason to be ashamed. And I've even stood in the line with them, just walked through there just to give them some comfort. I've seen where we looked at their budget at those points, as I shared before, where they're out of money, need food, they go through the Mobile Food Pantry or the commodities. Specifically the Mobile Food Pantry, when they go through that, they can look at their budget again and see where they've saved $70. So for that single family serving that we distribute to them that day, that is $70 that they can use maybe to pay on a light bill, gas to put in the car to get to work, something for the kids for school, clothing, whatever. So it has made a great difference. And the clients that we've referred and they've used the service, they've been able to come back and show the difference in their budget. It is no sense of judgment, no need to be pride, hold a sense of pride for not taking advantage of the services and the resources as far as food is available. The first step is to just simply go there. You will find other friends and people there that you're familiar with. And then to know that that's a savings that you can actually, even though it's no income requirements, we're not gonna ask you, how much you make a year. So we basically can serve from low income to people who are on a higher income but simply hit a hard spot in their life. So we don't judge. Just come on, we're happy to serve you. That Mobile Food Pantry It is kind of unique to Lansing. However, we do have other sources around Lansing. Some churches use their pantry to give out food, but for the large number of people that are served in one setting, we serve over 400 people on a Saturday. So I think that makes it unique to Lansing. It's the third Saturday of each month. It is posted out on the city's website where the locations are every month. So if you don't know, simply go on the city's website, look it up, and you can find where the location is. On the website, there is a location, it's where you can volunteer. It has a little slot to click in if you want to volunteer and donate as well. We will take donations because that really helps to broaden our spectrum of who we serve. So if you find yourself in need of some of these resources, in the need of food, you can call 211 for the resources. As well, you can call 211 for free financial counseling with one of the 4 counselors we have there ready to serve you. The Mobile Food Pantry is a component of the City of Lansing's Human Relations and Community Services Department that's run by Dr. Joan Jackson Johnson. I'm a mere volunteer who enjoys what I do.
I'm an energy programs analyst at the Lansing Board of Water and Light. We provide electricity and water services to the residents of Lansing. Today we're going to talk a bit about a nice home we're reviewing here to see, or assessing here to see how efficient it is, and to make some no-cost and low-cost recommendations on some things that you can do to save energy in your home. We also offer a program to our electric residential customers called Lower My Bill, where we will come out to your home and do a walkthrough energy assessment similar to what we're doing here today and make recommendations on ways you can save energy. And we'll also install light bulbs throughout your home that save energy, the new high efficiency compact fluorescent bulbs. And also an LED bulb, which we're going to talk about. There's just the simple things that you can do, behavioral changes that you can make that can save you money that a lot of people might not think makes that big of a difference. Like latching the windows and just making sure that door is closed behind you. So there's some very simple things you can do, and we'll go over some of those more in the audit. And then there's the other side of the actual equipment that sometimes needs to be upgraded or to the new technology that's more efficient, and light bulbs are a really good example of that. An average home has about 44 light bulbs in it, and you don't use them all the time, but so you want to at least start out by replacing the bulbs that you use the most often with a high efficiency compact fluorescent or LED bulb. And again, the utilities are offering a lot of rebates and cash incentives so that you can purchase those items at a very minimal cost. Right, well there's a few things you can do. In the basement, for example, you've got leaky windows often. Those, you don't see them, so it is something you don't think of very often. But if you have leaky windows in your basement, your floor is going to be cold, so then you turn up your thermostat. So you want to stop where the cold air is coming in the house, say for example in the winter. So you want that right there, you could do a quick fix yourself by rope caulking it and putting in a insulated panel that you make yourself, or you can replace it with glass block windows. That's a pretty inexpensive item to purchase. And you also, in some cases, if you're concerned about safety, the glass block windows can help with that as well. So that's one item. Changing your furnace filters, very low cost measure to do. can help your furnace run more efficiently. If you've got an old shower head in your bathroom, for example, the new shower heads use a lot less energy, use half as much water. And that can save not only on your water, but also on your either electric or gas bill, whatever you use to heat your water, because you're not using as much. So these are, you know, small things you can do. Making sure you have window coverings so that in the winter you can close them at night, and also maybe in the summer to keep the sun out. When it gets real cold, you can actually, and windy outside, you can go around your home and feel wherever there's air leaks. Now again, that may not seem like a lot. Like the air leaks can come through the outlets, or again, through the windows if they're not latched. So go around and really look for these areas. Look for where there might be a penetration in the wall with a pipe or wire. Now that might not seem like a lot when you do it, but if a typical house, if you add up where all those little gaps and cracks are, you end up with a hole the size that a grapefruit could pass through. So you wouldn't leave a hole like that in your house. So it's a matter of getting to know your house and looking for where those drafty areas are, and how you use the house. Renters, you know, people coming and going, doors are often left open. Those are little things, but it's just like money flying out the window. Father did know best. Okay, I'm going to show you a few things here today that we think would help you reach your goal of saving energy. And these are really simple items. We talked a bit about lighting, and I want to show you. You may have all seen these little compact fluorescent bulbs already. These will use 75% less energy than the incandescent bulbs. And they're very nice. They'll last 4 to 5 times. They last about 4 to 5 years. Something I often do is just write on them the date when I install them, so I see how long they last. There's new technology on the market now called LED. It's light emitting diode, and you'll hear them called LED bulbs. And they come out and they look very similar to the, this one doesn't, but here's one here, here's one here. These put out the same kind of light as incandescent bulb. They're very warm, and these will last about 22 years is what they say. Yep. And so when I put one of these in, I say mirror the bulb, which is going to be first. The light emitting diode bulbs, they cost a bit more. They run about $20. With our $10 rebate, they cost about $9 or $10 now. So watch for those in the market. I know this one looks a little odd, but it puts out a very, very nice light. So we wanted to show you those. Here again is another compact fluorescent bulb that has a cover on it, so it looks more like the regular incandescent bulbs that people are used to. So you can find those in our local stores, Lowe's, Menards, and Home Depot in the Lansing Board of Water and Light territory, and they'll have the instant rebates on those. Another item that we offer a rebate on is the advanced power strips, we call them. And these are items that folks can use on their home theater equipment or office equipment, because some of those items don't need to be left on running all the time. So you can leave on your master console and turn off the external, like the screens and such, and it'll do it for you automatically. So we have a nice rebate on that, and you can again find those at many of those stores I mentioned. One of my favorite items is this. If you're worried about saving energy in your home, this is called rope caulk, and it's very inexpensive. You can get it in any hardware store, and you can go around if you've got leaky old windows and you're not ready to replace them yet, because that's something you generally do have to save for. We recommend going around and just putting simple rope caulk where the window opens and closes and stop that draft. You can take it off in the spring and actually reuse it again if you wrap it up carefully. And what's nice about this is, like in basement windows, if there's big gaps you want to stop cold air coming through, you can actually peel it off in bigger chunks if you like. Good stuff. So over here we have another couple items that help stop drafts. These are outlet sealers, and these are nice and safe materials to use. You would just put these on behind your switches, and you can put the little child cover caps on the, after you put it back on, put one of these behind it, stops the draft, and then put a child cover cap, and that actually can stop a major draft. Now that may not seem like a big thing to do, but when you're sitting next to a outlet that has that draft coming through, you tend to then go up and turn up your thermostat. So stop the drafts and leaks in your house whenever you can. And last but not least, everybody should try to learn how to use a caulk gun. They're a lot of fun, and these can be used, you know, the caulk is very important in areas, again, where it's leaking. So these are all inexpensive items that can be used in your home. Again, we've got lots of resources. We've got a home energy library on our website that people can go to and learn much more in depth how to do all these things if they have any questions. And they can certainly call us at any time.
Hi, my name's Rebecca, and I'm a financial counselor with the City of Lansing Financial Empowerment Center, and this is how I teach my clients how to budget. If you would like some more information on how to budget, just call 211 and ask for a free financial counseling session with Rebecca. And some basic tools that you're going to need to do your budget. I actually have a little packet up here, and it's going to depend on what kind of budget you're doing and your financial situation too. But it's useful to keep everything kind of in a little packet like this together. What you're going to need is things like a calculator, pencil. Don't do your budget in pen. It makes it really messy. Couple of samples of your budget. So if you're going to do a paper budget, you might want to make a couple of copies of that. Some of the financial things that you're going to need to do your budget, your bank statements, your pay statements, how much your rent or mortgage is. Your spending log is probably the most important thing for those variable expenses, though, just so that you can have something to refer back to when you talk about eating out or entertainment, things like that. You may want to keep receipts for certain things too. A lot of people keep the actual receipts, or you can scan them into your computer so you don't have so much mess. But those are some of the things that you're going to want to have on hand in order to do your budget. Well, the first time that we talked, I asked you a question. I said, do you know where your money goes? And you kind of hemmed and hawed for a second and said, you know, at the end of the month, I really don't know where my money goes. So a budget is something that will help you prevent from doing that. You'll know where your money goes. A budget is what I call a financial tool. It's something that will help you become empowered to manage your money wisely. Budgets can take all kinds of shapes and sizes, and they're tailored to fit your needs. So what we're going to do with our budget is just help you become financially stable as to where your money goes. So the last time we talked, I told you to keep a spending log, which is where you write down every single thing that you've purchased. And we decided to do that for a month, right? And we talked about the different types of spending logs, and we just decided to have you just write everything down in a book. And what a spending log is going to allow us to do today for your budget is to add up everything. So one, you can see where your money goes. Two, you can see some trends that you have. So maybe you spend too much in this section or that section. And a spending log is definitely something that's very imperative, because if you don't know where your money specifically goes, you can't do a budget, because that would just be estimating something. So you need to know where your money goes before we can do the budget. There's several different things that needed to be accounted for in a budget. What a budget is it's your different types of expenses. So a lot of people don't know the different types. There's fixed expenses, and then you have your variable expenses. So fixed expenses are things that don't change every month, like, you know, your rent and your car payment, or you know, things like that. And then your variable expenses are what your spending log really tracks. So things that you may not normally go to, like POP, QD, or something like that. So both of those things are extremely important to put in your budget, because one, you need to know how much money is going to be left after your fixed expenses. And then two, for those variable expenses, you need to know exactly how much you might be doing in spending, so that your budget will end up as you're flat, so you don't overspend or underspend. You count for all your money. I think the first mistake that people make is just not keeping that spending log. It's so important to be aware of where you spend, because again, you can't do a budget unless you know where your money goes. So I think that's the biggest mistake that people make. Not doing a budget for enough time to really know if that budget's going to work for you. That is another mistake that people make. A budget is not something that you can just do overnight. It's going to take some time and some effort on your part if you really want to empower yourself financially and make that budget work for you. The best way to lay out a budget really depends on your situation. There are different types of budgets that you can use. Some of the ones that we will look at today are simply what's called a line item budget. And it's basically, here's your income and here's your expenses. So that is one way that you can put out your budget. You have all of your income on one side, all of your expenses on the other, and then you add up both columns. You subtract your expenses from the income, and hopefully you'll end up with some positive cash flow or nothing left over. Some of the other types of budgets that you can do, and there is something called a envelope budget, which was new to me when I looked up some different types of budgets. And what an envelope budget is basically, that's what it is. You put yourself in an envelope. And the premise is that you use cash instead of your bank account to pay things, because some people, they like to pay cash. So everything goes into different types of envelopes. I know there are some proponents about that, because once your money in the envelope is gone, it's gone. So you can't overspend on something. So if your budget is for $100 in groceries a month, you stick $100 in your envelope. Once it's gone, it's gone. So that kind of teaches you to be frugal with your money as well, because you know that once it's gone, you can't take it from anywhere else. So that was kind of an interesting budget that I've learned about. Another budget that you can do is called a percentage budget, where instead of putting, you do put dollar amounts, but you'll have like 30% of your income goes towards housing versus just a number of $500 goes towards housing. That one's a little bit more tricky to use, though, I think. And another type of budget that a lot of people don't think about is what's called an event budget. Say you're getting married, or say you want to have a Christmas fund or something. That could be a separate budget from your monthly one that you can use to, prepare and plan for things that you're going to need in the future. So I used a wedding budget actually when I got married, because there's so many different things that you need to, pay for in a wedding. So it was really easy to use a budget to keep track of that. So that's some of the types of budgets that you're going to run into. So, and you can pick whichever one works out for you. Okay. If your expenses exceed your income, there's a couple of things that you need to look at. or, well, there's actually two things it boils down to. Either you need to increase your income or decrease your expenses. I would say probably the best thing to do in the first off is look at your expenses first, because you can always take stuff away. It's a lot easier to take stuff away than to add things. And just because you're taking it away now doesn't mean that it's gone forever. A lot of people assume that just because they're going to cancel their cable, they're never ever going to have it again. And that's not always the case. It's a temporary situation for you right now. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about making adjustments to your budget. This is your situation right now, not necessarily 6 months or a year from now, okay? So taking a look at your expenses with your expenses like rent and mortgage or your fixed expenses, those are probably going to stay the same. So you're going to want to start by just making sure that you have all of that on your budget. Then taking a look at your variable expenses, let's go back to that spending log that you did. Do you see any trends where we can cut out? Are you eating out a lot? People don't know that even that cup of coffee that you get every day for $3, that can add up to a lot of money a month. So let's just play around with some numbers. You might have to redo your budget several times before you can come up with something that makes you happy. Maybe you won't want to give up that coffee, so it needs to be taken away from somewhere else. So you need to keep your budget in balance. And again, look at that spending log to kind of identify some of the beginning things that you might be able to do in order to make your budget work for you. Some of the other things that you can do if your expenses exceed income, look at other ways to supplement that. Are you using your area resources? We have a lot of food banks in the area that you can use to supplement your food cost. If you're having trouble with those electric or gas bills, there's agencies that can help you out with that too. So definitely just keep looking at your budget and looking at your spending log, and you can come up with some ways to cut some costs here too. So there are just so many resources out there, but one thing that you can do is go to our website at lansingmi.gov/OFE for Office of Financial Empowerment, and they have a great list of resources out there, so that might be a good place for you to get started.
Well, I had initially some questions about life insurance and the impact that could have on my budget, and naturally then I had some questions and concerns about how I might be able to be more strategic about some of my budgeting. The first session was exploratory. Jim was fantastic. He set me at ease right away. He was very unassuming, and he just said, hey, let's just take a look at what you have, what your needs are, and if you're not exactly sure which direction you want to go, if you want to talk, working on your debt consolidation, just budgeting. I had some tax questions. Initially, he couldn't answer the tax questions, but he was very thorough, and he said, well, I know somebody I can contact on this issue, and he gave them a call and called me right back 2 days later, said, I have your tax information, and pulled my credit report. So it was just very exploratory at first, trying to figure out what my goals were, what my needs were, what my strengths were, and certainly what some of my weaknesses with finances are. And in a very comfortable way said, I'm here to help you with this in any way that you want. So I was instantly put at ease and comforted by Jim's helpful presence.